Good evening, everyone, and welcome to John Pittard Elementary School on this delightful occasion. For those who don't know who I am Trey Duke, and I am proud to be the superintendent here in Murfreesboro City Schools, hoping with our current staff to carry on the rich tradition that so many in this room have started for us. As I said, MCS has a very rich history of serving Murfreesboro for over 128 years. And this evening, we will celebrate 4 individuals as our Hall of Fame inductees. I am very fortunate to say that this year I've had the opportunity to work with several of these distinguished individuals in various settings. But before we begin, I am going to take this opportunity to introduce the chair of our school board, Mr. Butch Campbell, to come forward and offer some opening remarks.
Thank you, sir, and I thank you for the applause. I haven't gotten those today. I've been home all day. I do want to welcome you to this second annual major event as we honor employees that have been with Murfreesboro City Schools, some for a long time, most of them for a long time, and they have made a major impression on a lot of us. I'm going to say us because Miss Pittard was my 8th grade teacher. Mr. Victory has made furniture for us at Whitehill School. Judy has been a long-time educator in our system and has made some major strides throughout. And who else am I missing? Sandra Park. Where's Sandra? There she is. I hadn't seen Sandra. Glad to have you with us, too. And we're glad to have all of you with us because this is a major event that we really take a lot of pride in, honoring the people who have been so important in Murfreesboro City Schools. Let me introduce to you, if I could, the board members that are here tonight. Karen Dodd. Karen, where are you? Amanda Moore. Bill Shacklett, who is the city council representative on our board. And we're glad to have Bill here with us tonight. Miss somebody? I don't think so. We've got other board members who wanted to attend. One of them's really sick, but others have to work, and it's whatever. But anyway, I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to have you here. You're a part of it as we honor these 4 individuals who have, like I said, meant so much to so many of us throughout their career in Murfreesboro City Schools. So thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you very much for those 4 of you that we are inducting. And let's just have a good time. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Well, again, we want to welcome you to this exciting event, as Mr. Campbell said, as we celebrate our second class of inductees into the Murfreesboro City Schools Hall of Fame. I've been proud to have served in Murfreesboro City Schools since 2019 and as the 14th director of schools for the past 30 years. When I stepped into this role, one thing that became abundantly clear to me very early on was the rich history of excellence in education that we have here in Murfreesboro City Schools. A history that includes the fact that we employed the first educator inductee into the Tennessee Hall of Fame, the first African-American educator inducted into the same Tennessee Teacher Hall of Fame, employing a teacher who would become the first African-American faculty member of MTSU, and 2 superintendents who would be named Tennessee State Superintendents of the Year. In addition, so many of our employees have received state and national recognition through various programs. And we believe currently, those of us that have the privilege of leading the district today, that as we keep an eye on the future of our great district, it's very important that we do not forget all of those who work so hard to bring us to where we are today. And ultimately, that is what tonight is about. We have so much to be proud of in our system, and we continue to boast excellent employees who are getting state and national recognition. Currently, we employ 2 educators who are finalists for the Presidential Award for Excellence in Teaching Math and Science. We have multiple state Teacher of the Year winners and finalists currently working with us, including the 2016 Tennessee Teacher of the Year and the 2022 Middle Tennessee Regional Teacher of the Year, as well as the 2021 Milken National Educator Award, all working for us currently. Additionally, the 2023 Middle Tennessee Principal of the Year also works with us still today. The individuals that represent our district continue to do great things, and I believe that's because of the rich history that tonight's honorees set up for us. The individual schools at Murfreesboro City Schools, they've changed a lot in the 128 years in name, in size, and emphasis. School reports showed from 1895 that we had 2 schools in Murfreesboro City Schools with 641 students. Now, I had to do some math, so I told Lisa when she told me that that's a pupil-teacher ratio of about 50 to 1. So I don't know who they weren't counting, but that's either some really large class sizes 128 years ago, with those 2 schools. But we've grown now to be the 21st largest school district in the state of Tennessee, the largest city school district in the state of Tennessee, with 13 schools across 15 campuses, serving almost 10,000 students in pre-K through 6th grade. Our mission in Murfreesboro is to assure the academic and the personal success of each child, and that is what you will see tonight. Our honorees that represent the best of our mission. They represent the hard work, the dedication that has changed lives in our community, and they represent what it means to ensure students, teachers, and support staff are known, safe, challenged, and empowered. To make this night happen, I have to thank the many hands that made it possible. First, we had the selection committee, which includes retired educators, current staff members, and community members who oversee who comes into our Hall of Fame each year. This committee is comprised of Sandra Parks, but please let me point out she was not at the meeting when we secretly voted for her, and Lisa kept her off all email communication. So that worked out great for us. Along with that is Miss Minerva Smith, Margie Jennings, Roseanne Barton, David Scott, who is also the board chair for our City Schools Foundation, Dr. Max Moss, Jenny Bragg, Maria Johnson, Lisa Trail, and our school board members. So can we give a hand for our selection committee who's worked so hard? Again, thank you for those that are here tonight, and several will actually be joining me at the podium tonight to help honor our honorees. I also want to say thank you to Mayor Bragg for being here tonight as well. It's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us. As well as Dr. Dee Doyle, who was in our inaugural class last year, a former Hall of Fame member herself. So thank you for joining us again tonight, Dr. Doyle. I also can't go on without thanking the principal of John Pittard, Dr. Christy Robinson, for allowing us to use this space tonight. When we do these events, we think it's very important that we do them in a school building that allows us to represent the rich history of our community. And finally, I have to thank Lisa Trail and Tori Carr, who are running around here, for taking an idea we had several years ago and turning it into reality. Thank you for both. A lot of hard work goes into this. And Lisa and Tori at the best when I go in and say, I have a great idea. And then I get to walk away, and then tonight happens. So thank you, Tori and Lisa, for your hard work with that, for sure. Our inductees, now for the good part. Our inductees for the 23-24 year represent outstanding individuals varying from educators who began their work in a one-room schoolhouse to educators who've led statewide dialogues to further the occupation of teaching. But we're going to begin tonight with the only man being honored, Mr. Ernest Victory. And so with that, I'm going to hand the microphone to my Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction, Ms. Sherry Arnett, and allow her and Ms. Roseanne Barton, a former school board member and former NCS principal, to highlight our first inductee. Ms. Arnett?
Thank you. I am just so honored to get to say a few words about Mr. Victory. Mr. Victory's willingness to assess the needs of our classroom with such a pleasurable attitude, listen to educator input, and create solutions is known across the entire district. Mr. Victory's creations have enhanced the overall appearance of Murfreesboro City Schools and his attitude and skills have earned him several recognitions from Murfreesboro City Schools. But I have to tell a few personal stories. So I don't know if Mr. Victory knows or not, but when I started teaching 32 years ago, Mr. Victory made my first podium, and I still have it. I don't know if I'm supposed to keep it, but I have it. And so I cherish that. Another thing that just really touches me is Mr. Victory, when my dad passed away, came to visitation, and nobody knew that Mr. Victory was there because he didn't have his overalls on. And so tonight you may not know he's over here with his fancy overalls on, he tells me. But I just love Mr. Victory and so proud of him and has done so much for this district. Miss Barton?
I am so excited about all 4 of our inductees tonight. I know all of them well. Didn't know Miss Mabel as well as I know her family, but Ernest and I go back a long way. Started knowing Ernest when I played softball with his daughter, Lori. That was what? I'm only 34, so 29 years ago, maybe. Anyway, so I knew him from that, and when I started teaching, Ernest would come to see me in my classroom. When I became principal, Ernest continued to come see me. He wouldn't leave the building without coming to the office first and telling me hello. He built all of my furniture for both principals' offices at Reeves and here. Oh my gosh, there's just so many good stories about him, but he always knew the scuttlebutt that was going on in the system, so he would always come in and say, "Hey, I got something to tell you." He always hooked me up. But he changed the looks of classrooms all over this system and was so happy and so proud of his work. If you could look at the furniture he's built, all the pieces are top notch. I mean, you can't buy anything in a store that's as good as what he makes. So at this time, Mr. Victory, if you will come up here, we have a little award for you. We're so proud to put you into our Hall of Fame. Well, you're so deserving. You've done a lot of things for a lot of people, not only in this room, but all over Murfreesboro City. Congratulations.
We're going to get you to go this way so you can get your picture here. There we go. Right here. When I started working in the district, my story about Mr. Victory is people kept talking about, well, Mr. Ernest made it, Mr. Victory made it. And I said, who is this man? Right? And then he walks in my office one day, and as I became director, every time he's in the building, he comes by and sees me, and we sure do appreciate that. Congratulations. Our next honoree is Miss Mabel Baxter Pittard. Miss Mabel Pittard graduated from the State Teachers College, where she met her husband, Homer. She began her career in a one-room schoolhouse and later taught at Mitchell-Nilson Elementary and Central Middle School. She worked tirelessly as an educator and after her retirement, continuing to service our community as a historian for the Rutherford County Historical Society. Together, Homer and Mabel Pittard wrote the history of Rutherford County, and later Miss Pittard published Pictorial History of Rutherford County. She meticulously studied in the Tennessee State Museum and other resource sites to bring past stories to life. Keep in mind, there was no internet, so this was very difficult research. With 2 buildings in our community named for the Pittard family, they have definitely left a legacy of commitment to education and to history.
All right, Miss Mabel. She is a legend in our community, and I know a lot of you are here from here, so you know that. But she tutored more people than anybody I'd ever heard of. She tutored my ex-husband in math, and that everything worked out all right. So I think we're good. But when we opened this school, of course, which was named for John, she came. And so I got to talk to her again. And just so sweet and so elegant and so everything she says is perfect. And I just think it's so fitting for someone of her caliber to be in this Hall of Fame, to be recognized as one of the top educators in our community. She will go down in the archives as one of the best math teachers I've ever known. So somebody from Miss Mabel's family would like to come up and accept the award for her.
We'd like to welcome her daughter, Miss Ann Smith, to come and accept this on her behalf.
I just want to thank you for this award for my mother. She would be thrilled. She loved teaching more than anything. She could drive down the road and I'd be in the back seat and she could work a math problem for me in the back seat and drive down the road. So she was a wonderful teacher and I just appreciate the award so much. Thank you all.
And it is my pleasure to welcome Principal Robin Newell to the stand.
I am up here to honor Sandra Parks. Miss Parks taught school at Mitchell Nelson Primary for many years before she left to go into administration and help open Cason Lane Academy. Cason Lane was the newest building and the bright idea for Murfreesboro City Schools. Opened in 1994, it was a year-round Paideia school that was focused on creative thinking, a culture of collaboration and discussion. When the job of principal at Mitchell Nelson Primary became available, Sandra returned to her first school home and served as principal there for 10 years. She was admired by teachers, colleagues, and parents, and I am one of her biggest fans. Her excitement for teaching and willingness to play the part of any character made her a favorite among students. And if you've been watching the presentation, you will know that if there was ever a chance to dress up and put on a costume, Sandra Parks did that. And even after she left Mitchell Nelson, she continued to come back to support the school, often in costume, to read to classes. When Sandra retired, it was my great honor to fill her shoes at Mitchell Nelson Primary. And let me tell you, those were big shoes to fill. What a legacy she left at the primary. I stepped into a culture whose primary focus was children. A culture where teachers loved children and each other so much that it showed in everything they did. And Sandra instilled that in them, and you can still feel it if you go in that building today. I think Sandra Parks is Mitchell Nelson Primary.
After retirement from Murfreesboro City, Ms. Parks served as an adjunct professor for education at MTSU and as a master clinician with the Tennessee Board of Regents, helping to transform the evaluation system for student teachers. I came to know Ms. Parks when she returned to MCS as a board member for the City Schools Foundation. She jumped in, has served as the chair of the largest fundraiser, Excellent Education, and under her leadership and the leadership of the foundation has raised thousands of dollars for the teachers in our system. So at this time, we'd like to invite you forward, Ms. Parks, and recognize you with this honor.
The only thing I'd like to clarify from the pictures, I did not wear a costume every day, but I still have them. So I think I've turned them over to my daughter now, and I just have a love for that. But there are so many people that deserve this just as much as I do. There are so many people that help me. We can't do this alone.
But one tip that I got when I became a principal was hire people that are smarter than you, and you'll always look good. So, and that's a good, but thank you so much, and thank you for this night.
And for our last one, I'd like to ask Miss Minerva Smith to join me at the podium.
Judy Whitehill joined Murfreesboro City Schools as a speech therapist at Bellwood, Hobgood, and Bradley. When she first started out, she was in a little tiny van, and she would go from school to school and plug in her van. She would go in winter time and get her students. They'd bundle up in their coats and come out. And for the longest, she advocated for them finding a room for her in the school buildings. And as y'all know, rooms sometimes are hard to come by. So one day, her supervisor came to observe, as you know they often do, to check up on you. And a terrible thunderstorm happened while she was there. And the van was rocking and shaking, and the children were terrified, and I think the supervisor was terrified as well. So the next week, the principals all found a place for Judy in their building. But when Northfield Elementary opened, she joined the faculty there, and after receiving certification as a library and media specialist, she continued to service the students of Murfreesboro City Schools for nearly 30 years. Judy has served as president of the Murfreesboro Education Association, president of Tennessee Education Association, president of Delta Kappa Gamma Delta Chapter, president of the Rutherford County Retired Teachers Association. I'm kind of seeing a pattern here. When I first joined MCS, Judy and I were the only speech therapists, and I got a close-up view of her commitment to improve education for all students and teachers as well. It did not take me long to realize that service was her middle name. She felt she had received a fine public education from Metro Nashville and Rutherford County and wanted that for our students as well. Her resume literally has page after page after page of organizations that she has worked with to help others. I can't think of anyone more deserving to be inducted into the Murfreesboro City Schools Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Judy.
Continuing on, Judy was the first active teacher to serve under Governor Ned McWhorter on the Tennessee State Board of Education. She's continued to serve our community well on various boards, Rutherford County Habitat for Humanity, League of Women Voters, and NAACP. I'm so excited, personally. I got to work with Judy at Reeves Rogers for a while. Her little closet of a room was on our hallway, so I got to see her come in and out of that closet a lot. Well, I'm serious, it was a closet. I mean, it had a window, but it was a closet. But she is fabulous. There's so many people here, so many retired teachers are here that are deserving of this award as well. But Judy, you're one of the best, and that's why we wanted you to be here. Judy, would you come up so we can give you your award?
First of all, it's an honor to be recognized. You know the old adage that says, if you see a turtle at the top of a fence post, one thing you know for certain, they didn't get there by themselves. And that is certainly true. I see so many faces out there, so many friends and cohorts who helped me with my professional path, and I really appreciate that. I do want to recognize my mother, Sue Collins, who didn't get to have her. She didn't get to complete her education, but she made sure that my brother and I would be able to choose the path that we wanted to meet our goals. And lastly, I just want to say how much I appreciate everything that the Murfreesboro City Schools stands for, as Dr. Duke talked about the years and the history. They always set high standards. And of course, it's the teachers and the support professionals who made those standards come true. You're the ones who went out there and made those goals happen so that our students were the beneficiaries. I think that our public schools here and across the state are what has enabled every child to have a successful quality education. And I thank all of you who've had a part in that. So thank you for honoring me tonight. Appreciate it.
Again, so many great people here. 4 very worthy inductees. If you 4 would stand where you are and let us give you a round of applause one more time.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. And again, what a great night. And again, it really is about celebrating the history of this. I think the greatest thing we can do for our community is to have strong public schools. And I say it all the time, strong public schools make strong communities, and they go hand in hand. And the reason I think Murfreesboro is the great city it is today is because of the work that our honorees did tonight. And I love this award ceremony because we get to honor all those. It takes more than just the teachers in our building, even though they're a critical part. It takes great administrators. It takes excellent support staff like Mr. Victory, who make sure teachers have what they need. It takes everything to have the students be at the center of the work. So thank you for that tonight, and thank you for your commitment. I do want to briefly say, I did not do this at the beginning, but if you are a retired Murfreesboro City School employee that is here tonight, we would love to have you stand so we can recognize you for your contribution as well. Thank you for your contribution to our school system and to all of our, specifically our Retired Teachers Association, who has been a critical piece tonight as well. But with that, we want to say thank you for coming. I hope you'll stay. I hope you'll continue to mingle and talk and celebrate this night. We will leave the banner up here, so honorees, if you'd like to have pictures made, we will have that, and we will make sure we get pictures with your awards and your family members as well. But with that, thank you so much for coming. If we can ever be of a service in Murfreesboro City Schools, don't hesitate to reach out.